Hellraiser, how are you today?
Very good, Mark. And you?
Always fantastic, Hellraiser. Always fantastic. Even more fantastic.
Oh, sorry, I just burped. I really apologise for that. I don't know where that came from. I've ruined the intro.
These things, these things just happen, don't they?
Well, yeah, it's natural.
I think the expression is better out than in. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I had planned a fantastic intro, but what's better than a burp? Hey.
I don't know. I'm happy with it.
Who wouldn't be, Hellraiser? Who wouldn't be? Are you going to stop moving your microphone as well now?
I'm just readjusting. I'm trying to get it so that the air doesn't come out again and interrupt the podcast with another burp. So
okay,
I think we're good now. We're set.
Okay, so yeah, if you could not burp or move the microphone, just try to stay still. Just move the muscles in your mouth and maybe like tongue, and that's all we need for the podcast, okay?
It's 2 thumbs high from me, Roger.
Okay, excellent. 2 thumbs, my favourite. I spoke with Boom Boom about this, about fingers being raised. You don't want the middle one raised, do you? Always the thumb. The thumb is the one that you
depends
want.
What the message is.
Valid point. Anyway, Hellraiser, how do we usually start the show?
Reviews.
Yes. Do you think we have a review?
I think so. I hope so.
Yes, we have a real beauty today, a Facebook review, and lovely. It's from Andriy Strelsiv, who I know as Andrew. Okay, every time I've spoken to him, he says, "Call me Andrew," and
helpful for you.
Very helpful, very helpful. And it says, "Oh my goodness, let me tell you, RnR English is quite the crew, with Martin Johnston leading the way and co-hosts that make every day a riot of laughs and learning galore, from the Hellraiser to Clarification Charlie and more. Dan the man is quite the dude. Boom Boom Cannon always lifts the mood. Substitute Sabrina steps in with grace. Corporal Coma keeps us in place. PTTJ makes us sweat and strive, and Retro Robs keeps the nostalgia alive. These language learners are having a blast, improving skills that will forever last. Thanks to the hilarious and talented team at RnR English for fulfilling their dream. So if you want to learn while laughing out loud, join the gang and you'll be proud of the progress you'll make in every way, with RnR English leading the way."
Oh my God. Andrew, you have blown my mind.
Andre, are we calling him now?
That is amazing.
That is amazing. I'm almost embarrassed to make a podcast now, because it's not going to be as good as that. That's the end of the episode.
No. So I mean, I'm actually a bit emotional, a bit in tears.
As am I, Hellraiser. As am I. So thank you so much for that, Andrew. That was absolutely beautiful. Okay.
2 thumbs high, baby.
2 thumbs from both of us. So 4 thumbs in total. 2 plus 2. You do the maths. Okay.
You do.
So on to today's show, Hellraiser. Okay.
Indeed. Now, I'm ready.
I thought we could just have a bit of a chat today, okay, about a very important topic, which is health. Okay. Because I have not been feeling so well recently, and it really makes you realize how important health is. Okay, just in case you didn't know, health is important. And just to give you an idea of how sick I was, I decided on like day 3, I thought, I'm feeling a bit better now. So I got in the car, I went to Tesco's, the big supermarket, in case anyone's interested. In England, we do actually differentiate, don't we, between big Tesco and little Tesco's. So I went to the big Tesco's and then thought, right, like you with your burp earlier, I thought I need to do a fart. I thought
no.
I'll be okay. And then
Oh boy.
tried, and then I thought we have an emergency here. I have shit my pants.
Was this in the big Tesco's or in your car?
In big Tesco's. So very quickly had to leave big Tesco's without buying the things that Mrs. R&R had told me to buy. Came back and said, "Look, I'm really sorry. I've shit myself."
To the checkout people.
Yeah. I said, and then they said it on the tannoy. You know, when they talk to the whole supermarket, they said, "Excuse me, we have an emergency. Martin Johnston has
shut himself in aisle 5. Clean up in aisle 5. We got a live one."
No, actually, Mrs. R&R mentioned to me, obviously with 2 young children, we do have lots of nappies at home. Nappies, obviously the things that children wear, and asked me if I needed any. She said, "You can get adult ones. Would you like some nappies?" And I said, I think I'll be okay. So avoided it. But so I thought we could just talk about health in general. Okay, Hellraiser. So what about you? Are you a healthy person?
Oh, top of the game. Yeah. Shamanic.
You did actually mention you are 69 days without drinking alcohol, Hellraiser. Is that right?
Absolutely wild. Yeah, it's 69, baby. That's an Austin Powers voice.
Wow, 69. Because, yeah, certainly in the past, if I thought of one person that probably didn't care so much about his health, it was you. And I always think, demonstrated by the fact that you volunteered to try drugs for medical purposes. We're not just talking recreational things here, but I always think, I never thought I would know anyone personally that would do that, because I think if you volunteer to take these medical drugs, which they haven't been tested, they are being tested on you, I think you really have to care almost nothing about your health.
I think that the thing was, for me, I cared more about my impact on medical science and the wider human race than my own body and health. Just for the listeners' benefit, it wasn't a great time. I spent 10 days locked in a secure unit of a medical facility in the north of London with 20 other, let's call them inmates, varying degrees of madness.
Conversation must have been pretty good in that place. I kind of imagine this like Big Brother kind of thing. If they should maybe put cameras in there just to see what happens in these
medical
places.
Big Brother, yeah. It was a bit weird. I wouldn't do it again. But you know, I've contributed to the human race in ways that probably people like yourself haven't.
Yeah, very noble of you, Hellraiser.
Well, your words, not mine. Your words.
Like sacrificing yourself, kind of like Jesus did for the rest of humanity.
If you want to put it that way, I mean, I'm not going to say no.
Definitely not, because probably you had no money at the time. And I would imagine, I've never asked you, but I would imagine they pay people quite a lot of money to do this, because I don't think many people would volunteer to do that without a healthy financial reward.
You'd be surprised. There wasn't many people who I'd say were of sound mind in there.
Right. Okay.
None of us stayed in touch.
Okay, well, that's good, because, well, it's nice that you're looking after your health now, Hellraiser. Very much the opposite to me, because I don't think I've ever felt less healthy than I do at the moment, with getting absolutely zero sleep, eating absolute shit. Because if you don't sleep, you kind of want to eat shit, don't you? So even
Yes.
literally just before this, I bought a Lindt chocolate bar, you know, like the really high class chocolate. I think,
Oh,
where
yeah,
is it?
treating yourself. Swiss.
Oh yeah, Swiss. Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
deserve it.
Well, I went to Little Tesco's yesterday.
And didn't shit yourself. Didn't piss
Luckily,
yourself.
no, I just saved the shits for the big Tesco's because I want
Yeah.
to make more of an impact
Yeah.
there. For the little
Smart.
Tesco, it's like, yeah, who cares? I'm not even going to piss myself here.
Nice.
So, and I was there, you know, and I thought, I'm going to push the boat out here and go for some Lindt chocolate. And they're quite big. And literally just before this podcast, I thought I'll have like 2 blocks. Ended up eating 6 blocks because, again, you don't get any sleep, and
wow.
you just think, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna.
You are living on the edge, man.
Exactly. And so I've developed a bit of I think it's known as dad bod, like a dad, like belly, let's say, since baby RnR number 1 was born, I have to say. And the other day I was just flicking through my phone and some old pictures and saw a picture of me from about 5 years ago. And I thought, God, look how much like slimmer I was there. But normally people look at those pictures and think, oh, I looked great. And then I kind of looked and thought, no, I did look like I was a bit sick there because I was so skinny.
So it didn't look good then either, but just look worse now. Did you take out that life insurance in the end?
No, still haven't taken it out. And if they listen to this podcast, God knows how much money they're going to ask me for.
Premium's going to be through the roof
to insure my body. But yeah, at that period, or during that period, when I was really skinny, I will always remember seeing a friend, let's say, that I hadn't seen for a long time, and I said, "Oh, hi, you okay?" I hadn't seen him, remember, for at least 15 years, and he said, "Yeah, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, because you look like you're sick, you look like you have cancer or something. I mean, what can you say to that?
Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't have cancer.
I mean,
why would you say it? That's quite a bold thing to say. I mean, imagine if you said, yeah, I have.
Exactly. Just don't mention that at all.
No. Have you been tested then? Are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. But like that, for confidence, I think maybe that was before Mrs. RnR. Like, and so, you know, haven't got a girlfriend. Most of my friends were kind of like getting married and things. I'm thinking, is this going to happen? And then you see someone and they say, you look terminally ill. It's not good for your confidence, Hellraiser.
That's not something you're going to put on your Tinder profile either, is it? What do friends say? That I look terminally ill.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I mean, I had quite an unhealthy phase. I didn't. When I was running pubs, I ballooned. I was like a German blimp.
You were
like a Zeppelin.
You were pretty fat. Yeah. You I mean, I was thinking of saying that in a nicer way, but let's just not beat around the bush here and go straight to the point. You were pretty fat.
I was carrying some spare timber.
Oh yes, lots of spare timber. I thought you had just kind of given up taking drugs at that point because, you know, alcohol has more impact. Because I remember seeing you
yo-yo dying.
I remember seeing you thinking something doesn't look right here. But yeah, so we all go through these phases, Hellraiser. Hopefully I will, you know, come out of the other end of it, as we say.
Well, we're all rooting for you. Okay. I don't think that you look terminally ill at the moment. You don't look well, obviously.
I mean, yeah, I never do. But yeah, not terminally ill is a bonus.
You look like you're going to make it.
Make it to 40 at least. Only less than 2 years to go. So,
shit.
Fingers.
Wow. Me
Less
too.
than two. Less than two.
My birthday's coming up. If you're interested,
Okay, yeah, really, really interested. I'll send you a card, maybe with a picture of both of us on there.
that would be nice. Actually, I don't think I've ever received a birthday present from you. Now I think about it,
Yeah, I don't
you're
think I've
such a
received many from
that
you either. It's not like
many,
you're buying
many.
me loads of birthday presents and then I'm not returning the favor, is it?
I think I have bought you more presents than you've bought me. I think that the balance is out.
I'm pretty sure I've never bought you a present and you've never bought me. Although I do remember, so it'll be 20 years this year, your 18th birthday, Hellraiser, going out for that. Remember that night?
Not all of it.
We went to a different town, which was, I don't know, probably 20 kilometers from where we grew up. And I remember then coming back to school on the Monday, and I remember thinking, like, oh, these people here, they don't know what the world's like. We've been out. We've traveled 20 kilometers and went to a nightclub
Yeah,
there. People there are just so different. People there are just so much more chill, man.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so chill.
Exactly. We were pioneers, real pioneers.
Yeah.
I think that did change me going to that different town. I think it altered the
Well,
course.
we then went a bit further, didn't we? I went to Italy. You went to like Uganda. Just maintained that, didn't we?
Exactly. And if everyone just remembers the first journey, every journey begins with one step, and that step might be to Basildon or
Wow.
Rome.
Since you have stopped drinking alcohol, Hellraiser, you have become such a philosopher. Every journey begins with one step. I like
There
it.
you go. You're welcome. You can write that down.
I like it a lot. So here is an interesting question for you, Hellraiser. I know the answer to this, but maybe we can explore it a bit. Speaking of illness, not being well, have you ever called in sick at work? So, well, let's say as well, let's change it to have you ever pulled a sickie? So when you pull a sickie, it's when you're not actually sick, but you phone up and tell work, look, I'm really sorry, I'm not coming in today because I don't feel very well. I mean, how many times have you done that, Hellraiser?
I mean, that used to be more of my job than my actual job, was finding reasons to say that I couldn't come into work. That was quite a job, because that would happen probably, I would say, if I had 4 shifts a week, maybe 50% of those I wouldn't go to.
Well, and it does get difficult to think of excuses constantly, doesn't it? So it's like a
Exactly.
job in itself. It's not easy.
Relatives can only die once.
That's the annoying thing, isn't it?
It is annoying, yeah. You have to make up you have a really extended family. There was one time that I didn't call in sick, and yeah, and I just turned up for my shift after not coming in, and they said, "Where were you?" And I said, "Well, I was sick." And they said, "But why didn't you call in?" I said, "Well, I was too sick to get to the phone." It was pretty bad.
As well, mobile phones did exist at this point as well. Sure, it wasn't a
Oh, very
smartphone.
much.
You couldn't
Yeah,
send a picture,
it
but
was on
you
charge.
it was on charge. I just couldn't get to the phone. It was too much.
But what do you say to someone who says that? You can't. I mean,
Well, the worst, and I must admit, I have used this before as well. Is you phone up and you think I've got nothing for an excuse here. They say, "Oh, I can't come to work today. What's the problem? Personal problems." Because no one can ask you anything if you say personal problems. It's like, oh
but
wow.
that's also not a lie, because we did have a lot of personal problems.